The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. We look at what happened on the day, and as we look at this chart, as we look at this monstrosity, what's happening here? Continuous on the S&P 500, higher lows being established since October. Now coming into today, we had Apple's earnings. There was a lot of concern last night. There was a lot of skepticism, right? If you were here on the channel, then you got a clear update on the targets that were expected across the board, right? We wanted to see a mount above 4,100 here on the S&P 500, this yellow line. Go watch the video, because if you did, you got all the information you needed right here, right? So we're going to come in here about to the 15 1 hour right here. As you can see, right at market open, 8 o'clock, 8:30, you start to mount and push up, right? That was number one. Number two, going into the Nasdaq, right? We already knew the Nasdaq remained bullish, right? What did you do here? You mount above 13.1, our other key level. So on one side of the coin, we have ES looking bullish. On the other side of the coin, you have Nasdaq tech heavy names looking equally as bullish. Okay, what happens from here? Likely anticipated. The push up, boom. We said Apple performs, we're going to get the push. We don't really care. We understand Powell's notion. We understand what the Fed has been saying. And whether you like it or not, you listen to what the Fed said, it seems like they're very eager to pause. It seems like they're very eager for that next step. Now, we have a lot of stuff to discuss what's happening at the beginning of this week. Names that I like in the market, trading opportunities. I think there's two setups that look absolutely gorgeous. You got to keep your eye on. And then we have some very big fundamental news coming into play as well. Now, obviously, before we get into that, I have to ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing every single day here on the channel. As you can see, I make videos for you going over fundamentals and technicals, right? We like to have a happy medium, but also explain to you the good, the bad, the ugly, so you understand why the market is moving and ultimately what to expect, but also so you know how to trade and what to look for in the technical aspect as well, right? We try to stay as transparent as possible, the good, the bad, right or wrong. We love to talk about it here. Also too, if you're looking at it, you're interested in taking that next step into trading, the Discord link is down below. Check it out. If you want to get involved, you want to see daily trades, you want to see what all the other traders are doing. We're almost at now, we're about to be at 900 total members. Get involved there, okay? Live voice chat, the basic and then full access. See the difference if you're interested. Again, this is open right now. But if you want that free content as well, this is the newsletter. It's down below. You can see previous weeks. You can understand what we're looking at going into a previous edition. This is all free. The link is down below. It'll be released Sunday morning, just so you know, about 9 a.m. Central Time. So make your 10 a.m. Central Time. So check that out there. Going over the Nasdaq, the S&P, everything, all the key levels, why they're important, targets as well. So you understand what to be looking for throughout the week, your earnings statements, key stocks we're liking, everything in between. Check it out, 100% free. This is all paid for out of our pocket. And as you can see, we're not even advertising anything. We have education here as well. Let's get back to the video. Now, the biggest thing on today, I want to go over some of the big news first. I'm not gonna skip around it here for you guys. We're adults. You want to hear the big news out of the day. Now, if you may have listened to the first few seconds of the video and you said, Tyler, I didn't take Powell's speech that good, right? I mean, honestly, he didn't sound that great. But as we said in yesterday's video, they hinted at being at the peak of where they want to be on rates. Now they're wanting to go towards credit. What do we know? If they suggest a pause, if the word pause comes out of their mouth, you're going to get that push. I don't care what previous data shows. Right now, the market is not comparable to 2008 or 2000. I don't care what you say. If you think it is, I suggest you get some, get some saline, clean your eyes out, because there might be some permanent damage, okay? Because the same people that have been saying short have been bleeding and losing money over the past few months. Now let's talk about where we're going here. Now Fed Bullard, right? Probably numero dos when it comes to top dog over there. Fed Bullard data suggests that the Fed may still be insufficiently restrictive, okay? This was a little bit of a red flag that came out here, right? This was a little bit of a red flag. He said going into this, and he's probably one of the bigger hawks out there. This was around 2 p.m. before we get our final push up. So again, I'm not going to just share you the bad news. I'm going to share you both sides of the coin, okay? So there is that. But he also went on to say and focus on what's happening with credit and how they need to switch their focus. Because right now, if we look at jobs data, we look at the data this morning, unemployment, 3.4%. It's, we're at lows. Okay. What did Powell say at the meeting yesterday? On Wednesday, he said, look, you might not have to, get unemployment to 4%, which sounds crazy, but you have to understand this market is unlike anything we've ever seen. Again, Powell highlighted that notes as well. From a technical viewpoint though, what are we looking at? What are we looking to expect? Now, really quick to the 4-hour review. As you can see, we are at the top of the range. I'm not going to say you're out of this yet. I'm not going to say you're perma bull, you're ready to fly. I'm not going to say it yet, but I think, and I believe we're getting close. We are getting close. I believe we're one data pull away from getting the breakout, personally. Because right now, what a data pull means of PPI, CPI coming in lower than expected or even at flat expected, what that means is, in my opinion, a pause. I'm going to tell you that right now. That is my expectation. That does not mean that them tightening credit restrictions and making it harder for consumers to have more credit, that does not mean that is not bad for the consumer and can slow down the economy. That's not what it means. Okay. But when we look at their tone of a recession likely not to happen from there, this is their voice, not Tyler's, right? We look at their tone of, we could see, if anything, growth coming soon, which is, again, kind of crazy. It has me to believe, I think tech could start seeing a little bit more love. So again, you're still in this range. This is over the past, basically, since April 1st, as you can see, this was our high here put in. So we're at resistance here on the Nasdaq. But again, what do we keep doing here? We're making higher lows. You look good. You had that lower low put in for a sec, but we just held that range. Overall volume is the bulls when it comes to tech specifically. Now we go over to ES. We look at what's happening here. Again, today, very, very strong day. What did we say in yesterday's video? There was a few levels we were watching. Let's go to the 15-minute. ES was kind of like all of our eyes here, right? Now, you pushed above 4,100 here early in the morning. You retested. You pushed back up. You never looked back, ladies and gentlemen. If you were in the live today, what do we say here? You got to push above 41.38. If you do that, you push into highs on the day, and you probably run into the end of the day. What did you do? Exactly that. Again, if you're not here for the lives, every day, 10:30 a.m. Central, right? Monday through Friday. Check us out, okay? We answer your questions. A lot of educational content as well there. Coming in here, you have about 50 points more potentially of upside here on ES, okay? Going back into 41.85, 4,200 flat. That's our level. That's what we're looking at. We got pushed down pretty hard the first time, but again, buyers are pushing us up even quicker than when we dropped. Food for thought, worth mentioning. Again, you're still above 41.38, so you look good. If you get back below 41.38, the key level there, you do expect to get a push back down into 4,100. But as long as we're above that, we are looking for upside pressure. Okay, really quick. This is Bookmap. We're going to take a really quick look at the level 2 data coming in here. Buyers and sellers, what's happening here? What are we getting? Now, beginning of the day, you saw sellers trying to hold us down, okay? We saw sellers trying to step into the market at open. You were pushing up. You had some decent sized icebergs coming in, sizing in for some shorts, trying to push you down. But buyers continue to hold you up all morning, pushing you up and up and up, absorbing all of that buying, pushing us through every major sell wall that we had here. Their link for Bookmap is down below if you want to check them out. It gives you a way better visual of understanding what's actually happening with buyers and sellers on futures. And you can go into stock and equities as well. So you can see that continues to happen. Again, you hit the 41.38 right to the T. You come back down, retrace, and you get some more buying here. The interesting part here during the day was you weren't getting any icebergs and you weren't getting any big buyers. And I wanted to see that to get some confirmation and get a little bit of a viewpoint into next week. At the end of the day, though, where do you get all that buying? Where does it step in the after hours, right? You have a little bit of buying coming in here, 21, and it's not even a little bit. Here at the end of the day, majority of buying coming in as you get that dip, 2,100 lots to the upside. It's a very big order, just so you know, almost close to half a $500 million there. And then the after hours, they're even bigger. And the after hours, sizing into their positions, liking what they're seeing here in the market. So again, that's what we're looking for, okay? And what did Powell say today? Not Powell. What did Bullard say today? He said the only thing that really could push us into a recession would be some shocking, jarring news. Some big, bad news, right? That's what his words were. So when we look at this and we go back to the chart, it's like I keep saying, you know, we've been saying this for days and weeks. When we look at these drops, and again, it's important we look at these weekly candles. And as we look here, they're not, again, the weekly does not look bad. You know, all selling pressure being absorbed. Again, you look back here at the weekly candle, and we look back at previous weeks. Remember back at Jackson Hole, right? Nasty drop, all sellers. Look back at, you know, last April, last March, heavy selling into May, right? Very aggressive selling. Now, everyone's so bearish up here. And again, I'm just speaking from a technical viewpoint right now because fundamentals and technicals are separated. They're not connected right now. We look here, and I would love to hear your comments down below. Is the technical viewpoint here really that bad? You know, I can't really get behind that yet. If we start to make lower lows, if we start to hold below 404 on SPY or below 4100 for multiple days on ES, where buyers can actually push you above and you can reject off that $4,100 level, then I see it. But as of now, higher low, higher low, higher low. So far, a higher low with a little tiny bit of a higher high put in here. Maybe even a double top so far. So I'm just saying, it's very interesting behavior. And we zoom out and everyone's like, well, you know, this is, you know, we still look terrible. I'm just saying, like, and I've said this in the past, this level here is a major inflection point. $4,200, getting above that. The last time we mounted above 4,200, you ended up pushing up in a straight shot from 4,182 all the way into 4,500 without really getting a retrace on the weekly time frame. And then you get your retrace and push from 4,275 into highs of 4,800. So we need to understand the significance of this level. But imagine, and look, when you broke this last time, you broke from 4,100, and guess where you went to? All the way down to 3,700, 3,800 flat roughly. So almost a 300-point drop in a matter of 7 days. This is, you know, go look back at the chart. So this is a major, major, major level. You false breakout, rejected here, and within a week, again, from 40, you know, highs of 4150, ending the week down at 3890. Again, almost a 300-point drop. The following week, another, you know, 300-point drop. Again and again and again. But we're getting all out of sorts. We're getting confused. We're screaming bear, bear, bear from the rooftops. Maybe about some fundamentals that we quite don't understand. And we're looking at this as well. And you're only moving about 175 points, give or take, back and forth. Is it that bad? Is it that scary? Now I get it. You're an investing Faru. Okay, I get it. You've been on Twitter all weekend. You've been searching. You've been researching. You have 0 DTEs for Monday morning, and you're like, Tyler, I'm bearish. I get it. You're a professional. Just hear me out. If you break and hold, and I keep saying this, if you can actually get a hold below 4,100, the evidence is there. You will have an entry opportunity to push you down to 39, 3,800 possibly. There's no reason to be jumping the gun yet, especially to the downside, my personal opinion. And then the Nasdaq, I don't even think there's a really conversation for the Nasdaq to be bearish here. You know, again, you can hate me all day long, but as you can see here, you had a bull flag here on the weekly. You pushed out above last week to end the week. Great. I mean, the candle, it's a little, I think it looks good personally. All that buying pressure just absorbed all that selling. And I believe with any bit of news, you want to push into 13.75. That's the big target here, 13.7, 13.75. That's on the watch list now. And as we start looking at equities, you're going to probably say, Tyler, it looks likely. Now, really quick before we do that, let's look at VIX. Let's look at some yields here. VIX. Again, I think VIX is the best hedge out there right now. If you want to play tech, I think VIX, VXX is the name of the game here. You're going to be able to basically mitigate almost all risk with like 25% of a position based, you know, if you do your math right, based on option contracts and having data on those as well, you know, especially as you come back down into these major levels. So VIX, you're back down at these lows. When you're down here, you have to be anticipating upside. Just with VIX this low. Again, you're trending back at local lows almost from 2021. This is when you were full bull, so be prepared for, you know, what's happening there. Going into yields, we saw some pressure here a little bit to the upside today. Okay, yields, finally, a little bit of love. But again, yields still look prepped for some downside. The only one that looks halfway decent is the 30-year. I'm going to tell you that right now. And this is kind of what you would like to see if you are coming in from a bull perspective. You would like to see the 30-year holding up higher than some of these lower tier ones, okay? But again, you're still, in my opinion, in this type of flag here. Not ideal, not a huge fan of yields. If they get back above the 200 SMA, I would think they have a little bit more maybe spark or a little bit more curiosity for myself. But until then, that's where we're at. Looking at gold here, I also want to just cover gold because you're in such a major inflection point. I haven't done it a lot here. But gold, you are at a 1, 2, 3 top here. If you can break and mount above basically 2070 on gold, you look good. But until then, it's a no touch for me. I think you're ridiculous for buying gold here at highs. If you break them out, then yes, you have probably upside. But this is all-time highs as well, so just be careful there. I'm going to let you know that. The last thing is oil. Oil still right now, everyone's big conversation here. Oil, if you look at the weekly, you ended up pushing into the 200 SMA. You rejected all the way back down to 7170. Pretty disgusting. We need more information. We need more data here. We're done with that. We're done talking about the boring stuff. We're getting into the good stuff. What have we been talking about a lot here lately? We've been talking about a lot of these tech names. If you were here yesterday, what did we say? Microsoft. Oh my God. Congratulations if you played this bad boy today. As you can see here, you were clearly crystal clear trading in a bull flag, okay? This was also put, I believe, on Twitter, and I put it obviously here as well. You can see trading in that 4-hour bull flag, boom, with Apple's earnings, you break right up. You ended up filling the gap around 310. You pushed even higher towards 312. Microsoft, what a name, absolutely torching it. You saw their deal they did with AMD, really trying to dominate and just basically free up some. They have all this cash and they're trying to use it right now. The highs here around 315.5 are going to be your big resistance. Be looking out for that. I'm not looking to go long here by any means anymore. Very interesting name as well. Apple. Jesus. Everyone and their mom's talking about Apple right now because guess what? You broke out of this crazy range. People were calling it a false breakout, this, that, and the other. Well, sorry, bears. Once again, what's the saying, guys? Bears look smart, but bulls make money. And that's all I got to say. Everyone wants to come on this channel. You want to go on YouTube and speak to other people. And it's a tough thing because I'm not speaking for everyone, but some people really try to put pride in what they do. They try to give you honest opinions on the market. They try to just tell you stuff straight what their honest opinion is, which in my opinion is very rare to see. And then people try to come out here and just bash and be negative and this and that. It's free, guys. First of all, YouTube, it's free, right? I make minimal amount of money from YouTube. Very minimal. I think it's like $1,400 for putting in roughly, 40 plus hours a week into YouTube. I'm just saying. I'm not complaining. It's just we do this primarily for you guys. And again, what the crazy part about this is where we live in a generation where people like to just have, conversations with themselves behind, a phone, and they like to rage and like, oh, I can't stand this guy, which more power to you. I'm happy that I can bring you so much enjoyment and I can dominate that big of a part of your life to where you have to just consistently express how unhappy you are on the internet. But what I have to say is, again, what is the point of being negative and being upset and all this? And at the end of the day, you continue to lose. You continue to just stew in this. But as you can see, Apple beats, they push up, $90 billion buyback. They're shredding, they're torching. They almost hit 175 today. Absolutely beautiful. Above 175 here on Apple, you're looking crazy. But the big level you're watching is around 176. I'm not touching Apple here, obviously, but a very monstrous level to be watching. And you can definitely see here on the daily, there is a massive supply zone coming into play here as well. You gotta definitely understand where you're at here. So definitely be careful. Apple's probably going to be on the newsletter this week, so make sure you're watching out for it. This is going to be a very big level. Apple, monster name, big name. Yesterday, I talked to you about some of these banks. WAL was one of them. PACW was another. We moved down yesterday based on Twitter. You can go see that information. We moved down heavily on fake news that WAL was looking to sell their company and that PACW was selling because they were going under. I gave you the truth about that, and as you can see, the markets loved it. WAL, you hit lows of $11 on, I believe, Wednesday. Well, what happened since then? Boom, shaka, laka. You're back roughly at $28, almost 3x. Beautiful so far. Killing it. AMD and NVIDIA. I said NVIDIA yesterday. AMD came out with the news. What did I say about NVIDIA? Beautiful. You're finding that buying pressure off of lows. You dumped yesterday when AMD got the news. You came down to 172. What did we say here? What did we say in Discord? Okay. I want to be very crystal clear about this. And I say this not to say we're right or we're this or we're that. It's to show you that you got to be focused on finding the value at all times, right? Yesterday, this was yesterday, 12:39. NVIDIA and the others are the play right now. This was an AMD was pumping and the other semis were dipping. AVGO, NVIDIA just highlights everything that we said about them and the sector going into AMD's earnings. What happened? Let's look at these names. If you bought anything in NVIDIA today, then you understand you went to the moon. 273 up to 287. Well, what about AVGO, the other name we mentioned? We mentioned it here as well. You get above 614, 616, you're pushing right up. You hit 630 again. All these were mentioned in the videos before, giving you the setups, giving you the plays, the alley-oop. All you got to do is jump up, slam it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.